This is a video directed to the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, who is the leader, I believe, of Bond, which is the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. Now, that's a very interesting title for his organization, considering the material which I will be discussing in this sermon that he made, which is called How Liberal Women Are Building a Shameless Society. Now, first of all, Reverend, if you want to leave America, please do. Please. Because your ideas do not belong here in America, where we have free thought and free expression. Your ideas belong in some tyrannical dictatorship. I noticed that a couple of tags in your video were fear and doubt. I wonder as to why. Because I think you fear that women will have some level of equality with men. And I think you doubt your God's judgment. Don't you think that if he truly wanted women's rights suppressed, that he would have intervened already? That he would have given you the power to take away our rights? Well, if you truly believe that, if you truly believe that he has everything in control, then why don't you just let it go? Why are you worrying about it? Doesn't it say in the Bible that you should not worry about whatever God hasn't planned for you? Just let it happen? But this isn't about God, is it? No, this is about your personal prejudice towards women. I don't know why you have it, but you have it, and you have it bad. Now, I'm glad that, at some point in the sermon you decided not to generalize us all. You decided that, yes, some women are logical and capable of sound judgment. But then what you say next is just so ludicrous that it completely makes me forget that you were being even reasonable for even a second. Because according to you, the women who are illogical and incapable of making sound judgments are the ones who are fighting for their own rights. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've got a bully in a schoolyard and some kids who are getting picked on, don't you think that the kids who fight back are the ones who are logical and have sound judgment instead of the ones who get beaten up day after day? Yeah, I think so. Now, I agree that most women are incapable of being logical and making sound judgment. This is true. I also agree that most men are incapable of being logical and making sound judgment. I think that much of the human race is incapable of being logical and making sound judgment. And this population includes you, Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. According to you, God put men in charge of women. Now, I won't even bring up the theory that Jesus eliminated the need for the Old Testament, because a lot of Christians apparently don't believe in that. And I assume that you don't either, because from what I've seen in your sermon, let's see, there is the belief that women should be ruled over men, or ruled by men, and there is homophobia there. So, a couple things there that you believe from the Old Testament. So tell me, what else from the Old Testament do you believe in? Do you make sure not to eat shellfish and pork? I can see that from the suit you're wearing, it probably has mixed fibers in it. That's disobeying God's law. I can see from the fact that you shaved your head that you are disobeying God's law. But really, this isn't about following God's law. Because if you really did follow God's law, then you would follow the very big one, the biggest one from Jesus himself, which is to love one another. And you're not doing that, Reverend. I'm sorry, but you're not. I know you may think that you are, that you're looking out for our own good, but you're not. What you have is prejudice, and prejudice is stemmed from hate. We are not children who need to be disciplined. We don't need to be ruled over and told what to do by men. Some of us are independent. Some of us do make our own decisions. And we don't need you coming in telling us that you and other men need to make those decisions for us. But, of course, you fear us. And you doubt us. You are called to freedom, Reverend. You, men and women, everywhere, according to Galatians. You were called to not use your freedom to pursue the flesh, to pursue an opportunity for the flesh, but to love and to serve others. So why don't you, Reverend? Why don't you love and serve women? Why do you try to rule us? Why do you try to make other men rule us? Because, like I said before, this is not about following biblical law. This isn't about following God. This is about you using whatever verses of the Bible you believe in, that you would personally pick and choose for your own gain. Now you say that men have not made that many mistakes in the past, that they have been very good leaders in the past, and your whole sermon is about how men make good leaders, women don't. Now, I don't know if you remember, but a lot of men who were leaders in the past made the mistakes of, genocide, rape, murder, slavery. And these were leaders who were evil men. So if anything, it's evil men who can't handle power, not women. Now, I noticed that you think that liberal women need to have some semblance of shame for our sexual openness. No, Reverend, no. We don't need to have shame for something that is beautiful and natural and a huge part of us. Because shame is just your coercive tool in order to make sure that we will follow your rules, and so that you can be reassured that whatever you believe is correct and that whatever you believe should be correct for everyone else, including women who don't even want to believe in whatever you believe. It's what you use to validate that this world should be a sex-negative world, that we should go back in time and be repressed. I really don't buy into the shame thing, Reverend. I haven't bought into it since I stopped being the same religion as my parents, or as my mom, and I don't buy into it now. I see that you think that the movement for women's reproductive rights is all a ploy so that we can continue to kill more babies, as if it's just this sick addiction that we have, that we just can't stop killing babies. No, Reverend, it's about not bringing a human being into the world that we can't care for. Because honestly, if you're not going to bring a child into the world without all the resources you need to raise them, without love, respect, and patience, you may as well not bring them into the world, which is why I support medical insurance covering free birth control. Because if you prevent a pregnancy, then in essence you prevent an abortion, which I think is good because I personally am pro-life. So rather than just not having sex at all, rather than being robots and forcing ourselves to be celibate, I think it's a better investment that we prevent pregnancies in the first place. And yes, while some women agree to be abstinent, that's great for them. More power to them, because then I guess they really don't have to worry about the emotional strings that come attached with sex. But some of us